Fallout 76 is coming. Obviously, I'm sure almost all of you know that at this point. We know it'll be released fully on November 14th of 2018, which is a Wednesday, which is pretty curious. But before that, of course, we'll all hopefully get to play it in the beta. We don't know when that's coming, but we actually do know, based on an interview I went over yesterday, that it's going to be coming in stages, and the game will actually be fully playable in one stage of that beta. So like no restrictions whatsoever, which is pretty awesome. But again, the when of that beta or actually playing Fallout 76 is still up in the air, and we got to do something in the meantime. So in this video, I combined a concoction of mods to try and get some of those awesome features, some of that Fallout 76 experience in Fallout 4. I'm showing you 13 mods today. Some of them are fairly simple just to get you a little bit more hyped, and some of them are a little bit more complex and are fundamentally changing the game, maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. If you guys enjoy this type of content, you can subscribe or leave a comment. It helps with the video's internal rating system so it gets promoted more on YouTube. But with that being said, we'll just jump into the video. So a super simple one that is just going to be a great way to start things off, the Fallout 76 splash screen. So now when you load up the game, you're going to get that Fallout 76 styled please stand by instead of the old and ugly Fallout 4, 3, and New Vegas one. But why stop there? With the Fallout 76 animated main menu replacer, you will actually have the trailer for Fallout 76 being played in the background of your game now. Maybe you just really like the trailer. Alternatively, maybe you just want to hear more of Country Roads every time you launch Fallout 4, because that song is also going to play. Honestly, at first glance, this may seem pretty minor, but after launching Fallout 4 a few times after installing this mod, it actually is pretty cool. It definitely gets me a bit hyped for the game, and just in general, it's kind of refreshing to have something different than the canned Fallout 4 one I've been looking at for almost 3 years now. Alright, so now that you're actually in game, you're of course going to want to wear something to represent this new and upcoming game, and that is going to be the Vault 76 jumpsuit. One thing cool about this mod, other than the fact that it just adds in the Vault suit, is it actually is implemented in a pseudo lore friendly way. You actually find it on a crashed vertibird, so it's fairly plausible that that vertibird was traveling to the vault to deliver some additional vault suits and then was taken down by the bombs or something. It's minor, but I do appreciate that little extra attention to detail. But wait, there's more. Maybe you're still a little bit salty that you missed out on the Power Armor edition of Fallout 76, or maybe you just didn't want to pay $200 for a plastic Power Armor helmet. Either way, you also can get the Vault 76 Jumpsuit Power Armor edition. This one's going to come with a toy Power Armor helmet that you can put on your Vault suit to look, well, spiffy. This one is quite immersive in the sense that that Power Armor helmet actually has realistic stats with a 200 cap price tag and no protection whatsoever. So one of the things we actually saw in Fallout 76's trailer is that new Pip Boy. This is going to be the Pip Boy 2000, something present in the original Fallout games. This is going to be like the Mark II variant, so it actually is going to be wrist held. We don't quite have that in Fallout 4, but we do have the Pip Boy 2000 that is handheld, and you can get that in your game right now. This is actually a really high quality mod in its own right, and I've been personally using it for quite a few weeks now, but it is going to be very similar to the one you actually do see eventually in Fallout 76. One of the major takeaways from the Fallout 76 gameplay and trailers is the environment. They really showed this off, and it really is quite beautiful, green, and luscious, something that isn't super present in some of the previous Fallout games, like Fallout 4. There's really no mod that matches the diverse environments you do see from the trailer, but one that will help you out a little bit is actually Green Commonwealth. It's going to be a pretty performance-friendly grass mod that will just make things be a bit more lively throughout the Commonwealth. It's going to look much greener and not nearly as desolate as it does in vanilla Fallout 4. It's not a direct match to all of Fallout 76, but some of the regions are pretty close. But we can't forget about the water. That's another thing that was really overhauled in this new game, just making it look way more blue, vibrant, and not, well, ugly. Wasteland Water Revival is going to match that in Fallout 4. I would actually say the water is a pretty close match to some of the images and video we saw in Fallout 76's trailers. And even just in general, using these mods make the Commonwealth feel a little bit more vibrant and bright, not as dead as it does otherwise feel. And one final thing we actually saw in the trailer of Fallout 76 is actually these watchtowers, which we have almost an identical mod for that was released many months ago for Fallout 4. That's going to be the Minuteman Watchtowers. In Fallout 4, they're actually laid out as the watchtowers set up by the Minutemen. You could find little supplies there, and sometimes even enemies who have tried to take them over. They don't really serve a huge purpose outside of just cool little vantage points that you can explore, but these watchtowers will be prevalent in the new Fallout 76, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what role they play in that game. Maybe they'll actually have more meaning than just a watchtower, but either way, if you want to start practicing climbing up some of those stairs, you can download the Minuteman Watchtowers for Fallout 4. Alright, so this mod more than anything else is an attempt. The mod author definitely put in a decent amount of time here, but there is without a doubt a room for improvement. The Fallout 76 UI is an attempt at a recreation of the UI we've seen from the trailers. It has a few issues, and it's not just my own glitched load of this. Some of the screenshots on the mod page have similar issues. Some of the font is a little bit stretched or too small. So let's call this one a proof of concept with definite room for improvement. A few days ago, someone actually uploaded on Reddit an 8K version of the Fallout 76 HUD. They actually compiled it from all of the different trailers. It's only an image, but it definitely looks pretty clean and cool and could serve as a great resource for anyone trying to recreate that HUD in Fallout 4. But for now, if you're trying to get something that resembles it, you do have this one. In Fallout 76, there aren't the traditional settlements. Now instead you get this little guy called a camp, and you can place it almost anywhere in the world. And then it'll create a buildable zone for you to actually create your settlement. Well, somebody recreated that kind of for Fallout 4. We have the same camp. It actually is a custom model thing that looks pretty nifty. You throw it down as a grenade and you can build, well, almost anywhere. This is another one of those mods that is really cool but could use a little bit of work. Right now, after placing down the camp, you can build in the immediate area and the not so immediate area. As in, with my testing, you could build literally anywhere in the Commonwealth after placing this down. I think this mod would be awesome if there was a way to actually kind of restrict the build area, maybe really only in the immediate vicinity around you. Of course, you can set your own limitations and only build in the area surrounding the camp, but if you do use some settlements, you'll always have the little settlement thing on your screen now, which can get a little bit annoying. So this isn't one that we actually explicitly have confirmed for Fallout 76, but I assume it'll be there. And that's going to be unpaused game menus. So when you pause the game in Fallout 4, the game is paused. When you pause the game in Fallout 76, since it's always online and multiplayer, seemingly someone can attack you as you're in the menu. Fallsouls is going to bring that same mechanic into this game. When you're in your Pip Boy, when you're in the pause menu, things are still going to be active in the background. When you're trying to pop a stim pack or equip a piece of armor in combat, it can be very difficult and frustrating. But this of course will be great practice for the always online nature of Fallout 76 if you're really trying to refine your skills. V.A.T.S is making a return in Fallout 76, but again, as it is an online game, you can't freeze or slow down time in that game. Well, classic V.A.T.S actually has a feature where you can make V.A.T.S real time in Fallout 4, like it will be in Fallout 76. You'll still be able to target the body parts of your enemies, but they're not going to slow down their shooting at you. They'll still go full on and combat will progress as normal. I would actually say this is one of the best representations of one of the bigger changes coming in Fallout 76. A lot of times people will just spam the V.A.T.S key in order to kind of get a feel for the situation or try and plan what they're going to do next. With this mod, you're not going to really be able to do that anymore. It definitely ups the stakes of a lot of different combat situations if you typically rely on V.A.T.S, and it can make combat just a lot more difficult. And last but not least, we have the mega mod Fallout 4 76 by SKK. What this mod is going to do is bring some of the fundamental changes Fallout 76 brings to the table into Fallout 4. Such as none of the traditional human NPCs being present, but only other players. So now, while wandering around, you're going to find a group of griefers that tries to take you down. They'll have various usernames and different levels of equipment, but they will always be coming after you. In addition, from time to time, people are going to launch nukes to your location. You will have a warning and ample time to actually escape the area, but the nukes are coming down, and if you don't get out of the way, they will take you down. These two things come together to certainly create an interesting dynamic. Of course, most of the quests in Fallout 4 are now unplayable, but there are those few that only use creatures or robots that you can still do. And if anything, you could actually explore some of the major towns or people's homes without much interruption like you had before. And then finally, some of the major shops are now replaced with robots. So you still can get your trade on, of course, all those caps you've recently looted from Piper's bedroom. Obviously, this mod is largely meant as a joke, but oddly enough, I found it kind of fun to just mess around and kind of fight people from time to time. Like, I honestly didn't hate my hour-long experience while playing this and trying to actually play through Fallout 4 with Fallout 4 76 installed. Either way, it's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, I thank you all for watching. Hopefully you found this informative. Maybe you'll actually download some of these mods. Quite a few of them are pretty practical, especially that Pip Boy mod is actually quite a good mod. Fallout 76's beta will hopefully be coming out over the next couple months, and I definitely will be doing quite extensive coverage of that, including live streams, traditional videos, and hopefully the opportunity to play with some of you. If you are interested in any of that, you can actually subscribe. I also post fairly regular Fallout 76 analysis videos on this channel. But of course, before we end things off, we're actually going to have today's psychology fun fact of the day. And that's going to just be an overarching rule in psychology that many of the decisions you make, many of the things you actually kind of take in and analyze aren't done consciously. So one of the really obvious examples of this that you probably have experienced is like autopilot you go on, whether you're just tired or tired of doing the same routine thing every day. Let's say it's driving home from work. You don't even realize that you've been driving home because it's being done unconsciously. Your mind is elsewhere, but you're just kind of going through the same turns and routes that you do every other day, so it's automatic. That's obviously one of the bigger and more obvious examples, but there's a lot of other things you do, just minor things throughout the day that occur unconsciously like this that you don't even realize. Maybe it's a reaction you have to somebody or the way you interact with somebody else based off something they've done in the past and you don't even realize you're taking it out on them at that time. Or another big one here is actually things that will trigger anxiety. If you have problems with anxiety and you might not realize why you feel a certain way at a certain time, oftentimes it could be due to the fact that you've seen something and your mind kind of translates it unconsciously. But whatever that thing is did trigger some anxiety in you and maybe leads to fear or just discomfort. Either way, it's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.